What's your typical UTXO size in terms of sats? Cat Daddy Soprano. Look at that. That's a new face. So I'm a little bit weird in that, or not weird, but different than most people. Most people are like, don't send a transaction unless it's 1 million sats. I think that people like that have been in Bitcoin for too long. My minimum, my typical, every time I get to like 150,000 sats on my Lightning wallet, or, because what I do is I just, every week I buy $20 worth on Bitcoin Well. That's kind of my DCA. I buy bigger amounts when I can, when I have money, or if it dips. But like $20 a week, Bitcoin Well, recurring buy, it goes into my Lightning wallet from there. And then I just let it build up to be like 150,000 sats. And then I just send it to cold storage. So, I mean, even with this, like in 4 years from now, that UTXO size is going to be high. People are going to be looking back at this video and being like, what? 100,000 sats for one UTXO? But that's where it is right now. And that's why I'm okay sending smaller amounts, because I know where this thing's going, right? And so 1 million sats 4 years ago probably was fine, because it only cost you like a couple $100 for 1 million sats. But that's kind of where we are now. And it's just going to keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And in 10 years from now, that UTXO size might be 10,000 sats. And a lot of Bitcoiners would disagree with me on that, but I think that when that happens, when we get to that point, those 10,000 sats are going to be so incredibly valuable that the fees will be much lower in terms of sats. That's just my opinion. That's what I do. And again, going back to this, like, worst case, because when you're thinking about UTXOs, you want to think about like when you're going to spend those, right? Like, what are you going to buy? What's it going to be worth at the time when you're actually spending those, if you do? But what are you going to buy with that? And how much is it going to cost you? Are you going to need to group together a whole bunch of them? Like, if I had to group together 5 UTXOs at 200,000 sats, what am I buying for 1 million sats? Like a fucking town? Right? So, and then worst case too is like, if that ends up being too low and I need to consolidate, I can. I'll just wait till fees go down, and I'll just combine those, send into a new transaction, and I'll have one UTXO. So I'm in no rush to spend them. So what's the point? I would rather have them on cold storage than my Lightning wallet.